I'm leaving you, Claire. I'm in love with someone else. The words echoed through the glittering banquet hall like a thunderclap. Daniel, my husband of 25 years, stood at the microphone, still holding the speech he had prepared for my 50th birthday celebration. Instead of toasting me, he had chosen this moment to humiliate me publicly. The room froze. Glasses remained half-raised. The soft music cut through the silence awkwardly before fading altogether. 100 pairs of eyes darted between Daniel and me, hungry for the spectacle. The breakdown, the screaming, the tears. But I did not cry. Instead, I lifted my glass, met Daniel's triumphant gaze, and said, "Thank you for your honesty. That must have been difficult." A collective gasp swept through the room. My daughter, Sophia, sat beside me, her eyes wide, face pale with shock. At the far end of the table, Evelyn shifted uncomfortably. Evelyn, my best friend of 30 years, my confidant, my so-called sister in everything but blood. Evelyn, who had sat in my kitchen countless times drinking coffee, laughing with me, sharing secrets. Evelyn, who had betrayed me. I watched as Daniel smiled faintly, mistaking my calmness for defeat. He had no idea what was coming. The envelope. With slow, deliberate movements, I reached into my handbag and pulled out a cream-colored envelope. I slid it across the table, placing it neatly in front of Daniel's plate. His brow furrowed. "What's this?" "Something you'll want to read later," I replied evenly. I leaned over and kissed Sophia on the forehead. Her body trembled. "I'm so proud of you, sweetheart. This night is still about celebrating. Don't let anyone steal that from you." Then I rose, smoothed my navy blue dress, and turned to face the guests. "Thank you all for coming. Please enjoy the evening. I wish you a wonderful time." And with that, I walked out of the banquet hall, my heels clicking against the marble floor, the sound sharp in the silence. Behind me, the door swung shut. 100 whispers erupted like sparks from a fire. For the first time in years, I could breathe. The discovery. 3 months earlier, I had noticed something odd. Daniel had always left the finances to me, trusting my background in accounting to manage our household and investments. But suddenly, our joint account began to show small transfers, a few thousand here, a few thousand there, to an unfamiliar account. At first, I thought it was a business transaction. Daniel owned a chain of gyms, and his cash flow could be unpredictable. But the pattern was irregular. Too neat. Too intentional. I began quietly digging. I traced the account to Daniel himself. From there, I followed the money to luxury purchases, hotel suites, jewelry, spa trips. Not for me. Then came the phone bill. I discovered late-night calls to a number I recognized all too well. Evelyn's. One afternoon, when Daniel forgot his phone at home, I found the messages. "Can't wait for us to finally be free. After Claire's birthday, it's our time. Our new house by the lake. Our fresh start." I sat at the kitchen table, phone in hand, feeling the air squeeze out of my lungs. Evelyn. My best friend. The woman who held my hand when my mother died. The woman who threw me a baby shower when Sophia was born. The betrayal wasn't just in my marriage. It was in my friendships, my history, my very sense of trust. But I didn't confront them. Not yet. Because the prenup Daniel had signed 25 years ago, the prenup he had insisted upon to protect his future earnings, contained a fidelity clause. And thanks to the paper trail I was building, I had more than enough evidence to enforce it. The calm before the storm. While Daniel whispered sweet promises to Evelyn about their new life, I met with my attorney, gathered documents, filed motions quietly, and built my case. The divorce papers were prepared, timed perfectly for my birthday, the night Daniel had chosen for his grand exit. But I would not be the one left broken. I would be the one holding the cards. The banquet aftermath. When I walked out of that banquet hall, I knew chaos would follow. It didn't take long. As I slid into the back seat of a waiting cab, the hall doors burst open behind me. Daniel's voice rang out, no longer steady, no longer smug, but frantic. "Claire, what the hell is this? What have you done?" I smiled faintly, instructing the driver to take me home. That envelope I had left him? Inside were the divorce papers, along with copies of his bank transfers, screenshots of his text messages, and a note. You wanted freedom. I'm giving it to you. But freedom always comes at a price. Sophia. Back home, I sat in the quiet of my living room when Sophia called. Mom, she whispered, her voice shaky. Dad, he's saying you've lost your mind. That you've been plotting against him for months. I closed my eyes. Of course he was spinning his story. Daniel had always been good at playing the victim. I'm fine, sweetheart, I said softly. This isn't your burden to carry. Enjoy tonight. We'll talk tomorrow. There was a pause. Then, I love you, Mom. Tears stung my eyes for the first time that day. I love you too, darling. Evelyn and Daniel. The next evening my doorbell rang. I opened it to find Daniel, and Evelyn standing behind him, her arms crossed, avoiding my gaze. Claire, this is ridiculous, Daniel snapped. Unfreeze the accounts. Let's discuss this like adults. Sophia, who had insisted on staying with me that night, stepped forward. Maybe you should have thought about being an adult before humiliating Mom in front of everyone. Daniel's face flushed. This doesn't involve you. It involves me when you destroy our family, Sophia shot back, her voice trembling with anger. And you did it on Mom's birthday. How could you? Evelyn shifted uncomfortably. Daniel, maybe we should. But he waved her off, glaring at me. Claire, this is vindictive. This isn't you. No, I said calmly. This is me finally standing up for myself. The courtroom. 2 weeks later, we stood before the judge. Daniel's lawyer, a young associate clearly out of his depth, tried to argue that the prenup had expired with time. The judge raised an eyebrow. Section 14 states clearly, the fidelity clause remains in effect for the duration of the marriage. I see no expiration here. Daniel's face went pale. The judge continued. Given the documented evidence of Mr. Harlow's financial transfers and extramarital relationship, the court upholds the prenuptial agreement in full. The marital home, 70% of joint assets, and retirement accounts remain with Mrs. Harlow. The gavel struck. Just like that, Daniel's empire crumbled. The downfall. News spread fast. Our friends, our neighbors, our community. Everyone now knew the truth. Daniel's business, already shaky, began to collapse without my financial oversight. Evelyn, realizing Daniel wasn't the wealthy savior she thought, packed her things and disappeared within a month. Sophia stayed by my side. Her loyalty, her anger at her father, her unwavering support. It gave me strength I hadn't known I still had. Reinvention. 6 months later, my new company was born, Harlow Financial Transitions. I specialized in helping women take control of their money during divorces, widowhood, or life changes. The work filled me with purpose in a way my years of bookkeeping never had. Sophia, now thriving in her own career, called often. Mom, I'm so proud of you. You didn't just survive. You rebuilt. One evening, over a glass of wine in my new office, I reflected on everything. Daniel had taken 25 years of my life. But in trying to strip me of my dignity, he had instead handed me my freedom. The envelope I had slid across the table wasn't just the end of my marriage. It was the beginning of me,